All right, welcome back, guys, to episode 14 of Stich Joe Talk CS. I was about to say 2 episodes without a guest, but I don't know if that's the right way. That's not I shouldn't start with such a negative outlook. We'll get them eventually.
We're trying real hard. We have people begging to be on the show. They just can't clear their schedule to do it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, to be fair, these are people who have expressed their interest. It's not like we go around and ask. You certainly wouldn't see me cold calling, especially not when I'm contemplating extreme reclusiveness lately. It's just that time of the year.
You have that SAD going on, seasonal affect disorder.
SAD might be true for me, but I don't know. I don't who knows? I
think it's probably just the fact that you have a fucking job now and you have to be a grown-up, and that sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. But on the weekend, I know people who they'll finish their job and they're like, I want to go out, do crazy shit. I finish my job and I'm like, I want to put my head through a monitor and live in Dark Souls. So it's a little, I guess, to each his own, but yeah, it's the social life. I've been avoiding it lately. In any case, it was a moderately busy week before the major. Obviously, you're not going to see crazy changes happening until after, but we had a lot going on. We had some drama, and we had some interesting things happen in WESG. And I didn't even think about this in the outline we were drafting, but we could talk about the pretty low stream numbers for such a big tournament. Kind of funny. But in any case, let's hop on over to the Western Hemisphere, the New World. The headline, the flagship story here will probably be Misfits signing a team. But very quickly, let's go to right before we release the other episode, or after. And first we had Orbit signing a Brazilian team.
Well, actually, the first thing that we should do from the episode was the Tyloo news, because we actually knew about that. We talked about it last time.
I put it in the Asia section, but you're right. Maybe we should just talk about it now. Yeah, I heard about it a few hours before we recorded that episode. Very, very strange times. Actually, not really. This is daily business ethics in China, but I guess strange times in CSGO.
Yeah, which is essentially lack of business ethics. That's hard to say.
Yeah.
Business ethics. There you go. Is my monitor too bright, by the way?
Yeah, it's a bit bright. You're Semphis levels of bright right now.
We don't want that. Oh god.
Now it's really red, but then again I have digital vibrance at 100.
I just somehow turned my monitor off, so that's exciting. We're back now.
Technical issues, boys. Okay, no, never mind. It's not that bright.
It's the blue light, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's better.
Yeah, the second one. Mm-hmm. You're in a better state now. Better state of mind.
Great.
And I hope, Attacker? Attacker and Fancy One. Dude, you fucked me up with that monitor disaster. I hope Attacker and Fancy One are also in a better state of mind, considering they've effectively been thrown out into the cold.
Yeah, blacklisted from basically all domestic events.
Wait a second. Wouldn't it be yellow listed? Okay. Moving on. Getting over our Western imperialism. All right, so an interesting piece of news that I think you and I can bring to the table on the situation is the sort of war of statements, the war for informational control, or rather information control, that occurred here. And you saw that both sides, the management of Tyloo and the players, were using HLTV, since HLTV is the only conduit into any scene outside of Europe and North America. I'm looking at you, every other esports site. But anyways, they were using HLTV to release alternating statements, giving interesting views on the situation. Which side do you think bears out better?
It's hard to say. We don't really know what this. It really is going to come down to the contracts or lack of contracts. If there are any. On the one side, you have the players essentially saying that their contracts were written on like fucking napkins and not real contracts, and you have management saying yes they were. um, so like they obviously both can't be accurate. Um, so yeah, I mean that's kind of like the central thing there. But for me, it's even bigger than that because you have like at no point should tournaments be like enforcing the will of an org. You know what I mean? Like tournaments, players and orgs, like three separate things. The Venn diagram of what they should be doing is never ever that. You know what I mean?
That's a little incorrect because maybe tournaments, players, and orgs would work in a place like the United States where we have three branches of government. But if you think about China outside of esports, you've got the executive and the legislative and business all seemingly the same thing. So I guess they don't really care that separation of powers is important.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Yeah, it's a mess. And where do you think they're going to be saved, Attacker and Fancy One, by foreign org, or do you think this will be resolved somehow? I can't see them really being saved considering their English is like machine gun -2 divided by 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I think someone will take a chance on them, and if there's potentially like changes in Vici happening, you might be able to form like a Chinese dream team. But it seems evident that they're gonna need to be like you said, rescued from the Chinese mainland to go play elsewhere. So who really knows what's gonna happen with that?
Here's a potential for you. Obviously, this isn't serious, but imagine if they were taken by a Taiwanese team and it somehow entered the PROC versus ROC rhetoric and became a national security issue.
Dilemma.
Yeah. That would be okay. One can dream. Anyways, so yeah, we hinted at it the previous episode, but we respect our elders too much to leak things. Have too many ties. I'm too much of a nice boy. I don't know about you. In any case, yeah, as I was saying before, you reminded me we did have to pinpoint that was Orbit signing the Brazilian team. Now, hasn't Orbit been known for not being the most scrupulous organization in the past?
Well, I think what people will remember about Orbit is they have a lot of seemingly brief tenures of teams, right? Like they started off with those Swedish teams that like featured like Pith and Maxi and like Roka, the Swedish one, not the ginger American one. They had a couple of teams like that. They dabbled in like the Hungarian scene with like a team with like Dead Fox and Flash. They obviously had the Bulgarians as well, and that was like their most recent foray aside from a female team. So I don't know anything about how they are behind the scenes, like if they're Shady Spooky. I don't know if that was what you were getting at, but
I was more referencing what you said there, the short tenure of the teams they had. Yeah. Usually that's a sign of something. I don't personally know of anything else.
Yeah, I don't really know what to take away from that. Like, I kind of throw out the stuff with the Bulgarians because they have that whole dreamer thing. So it's like eventually teams are just going to get fed up with that, which I think is what happened with Orbit. So yeah, I mean, this is like just looking at this team. It's an interesting team because you have basically like three old men and then two young guys. So like obviously
sounds like a good Roman bath situation.
You have Knack, like, MIBR player, in more recent times coach of like Luminosity lineup originally, and he's shuttled back and forth between coaching playing. MCH, another older guy, and then you have like KNG and BLD who are like more young guns.
Yep.
So the rumor had been that they were just going over to Sweden for like 2 months or 2 weeks to like boot camp, but the actual press release makes it sound like they're actually going to be living over there full time. which is interesting.
Mm.
I assume they would be coming to NA along with, like where all the other Brazilians go. But there is precedent for this because we did have the Alien Tech Brazil lineup go over and live in Portugal. So, you know, it makes sense from the perspective that there's enough low tier events happening in Europe that they can actually like make some of their investment back if this team does anything. And with an assembly winter around the corner with a pretty low prize pool and trying to field 16 teams, this could be one of the interesting lineups that crops up there.
Certainly. And I mean, I'm in favor of foreigners coming to Sweden to actually work. But the thing is with KNG and Kaike, aren't they... Didn't somebody say... I saw some Reddit comment. It was talking about, like, FNX and him getting kicked. And someone was like, what's he doing now? And someone else said, look at his Instagram. All he does is party with the Immortals guys. And then someone else... Sorry, this is going on forever. Said, like, that they're trying to be, like, hard and Brazilian. And then finally someone said, man, you don't know Brazilian hard until you see KNG. I think there was KNG they called out. So this guy, I don't know if he's like a thug on the low or something.
I don't even know what Brazilian hard, like
favela hard,
like gangsta.
Yeah, like gangsta. Yeah, I don't know. That's just something I saw, putting a little perspective on it. But yeah, you're right. I mean, they do have some of these older guys like MCH and Knack. Knack somehow appearing time and time again on these like upper echelon Brazilian lineups. He must have the management game on lock. And finally, I just wanted to say that Lucas, as always, is a meticulous story writer. So he did mention ABCDE, focus on League of Legends and the CS scene falling apart in Brazil, which I don't think anyone had mentioned before. It was only something you really talked about. It's like you're the only person giving the broader macroeconomic overview of CS. Another reason to listen to this show.
Wonder where he got that tidbit from.
All right, so anyways, moving on. Certainly we'll be interested to see how they can do from out of Sweden, though. But FNS returning to CLG. I mean, there's the old joke that Mo told on stream about how you should just walk back into the house and say, I'm back. Looks like it happened. But yeah,
not really much to say.
Yeah, he's back.
I don't expect much out of CLG. I think CLG could have made like a splash. I don't really know who they could have got. They could have got like a foreign free agent or something, brought them in. I think this is like literally a case of going 2 steps backwards to go 2 steps backwards. You know what I mean? Like we're not.
That's certainly a new situation. Yeah. So I agree. So then, there's the TSM losing the CS GO team, which is part 1 of that story, which was expected. So not much to say there. And then this part 2 is immediately afterwards Misfits signing them. And they've given Misfits a nice little birthday present with a very convincing DreamHack Las Vegas qualification campaign. So things looking good there, despite a little bit of shade thrown by me at least one of the players a week ago.
At the fearless leader.
Yeah, at the fearless leader.
Yeah, so they give the org a little present in the Las Vegas berth as well as the EPL spot, which I thought it was interestingly phrased by TSM that said that we are giving this to the players and their new organization because we feel it's the right thing to do. Don't fucking get it twisted. That's not what happened. This is what happened.
You see, guys? Like, in many parts of the world, this is the only way to get things done, and it also is the way in the first world, but there's just more layers of obfuscation and abstraction. That's what rules the world.
We just pretend it's not happening. But
exactly. All right, we should have not a political, but like a psychological, socioeconomic episode where we just talk about what it's like to be a Westerner living in denial of reality. Anyways, putting that one on my whiteboard. Donation incentives, Stitch. So the
300 subs and we'll do it.
300 subs, and we'll do the socioeconomic episode. The E-League Major Talent came out, and it's who you could have expected and would have expected. Pretty much like the top commentators, the most entertaining analysts. I don't know if I should say the most insightful analysts. Oh no, sorry. I was putting together Richard Lewis and Thorin, but Moses is definitely more on the insightful side, and Thorin too. But I'm going off of his like Owen whatever. That was the joke there. And then we have Smix and Chris Pocket reporting. So there's that. Just throwing that out in case you didn't hear it, guys. And if
go
ahead.
One notable exception, though, wouldn't you say, in the analyst section?
Oh yeah, they went for the American production mindset of nobody will understand the Russian guy, the drunk sounding Russian guy. So YNK is not there, and we have seen people complaining about it a bit on the internet.
Yeah. Well, I know that Alchemist is actually a big fan of YNK, so I'm sure that wasn't his call, and I'm sure he's probably working behind the scenes to try and get him there, whatever way possible. So
I believe it.
We'll see what happens.
I
would like to see him there.
Mm-hmm. Is it drunk sounding Russian guy or Russian sounding drunk guy? There's a puzzle for you guys. Anyways, so first of all, you went like 240p on me. I just hope it doesn't go on for too long. No, you're fine. Like, you're not lagging at all, but it's just your video quality went down. So I don't know on whose end it is. We all good. It'll be okay. I trust for it to be okay. I do need you to explain, or not explain, but walk the viewers through the EPL relegation. It's one of the, I don't know. I didn't follow it that closely. I mean, I'm looking at the article here. We did talk about Oscar playing for Penta in it. But who do you think are like the best contenders in these relegation matches?
Yeah, so so the way that it works, right, is that we had those like matches played at Global Challenge Land to determine who automatically got promoted to EPL. The other side of that coin is that losing team goes to relegation. So the composure of relegation in each region is the 12th and 13th team from Pro League, right? Because the bottom team is automatically demoted, being Flipside and E United, respectively, or ex-E United, respectively in the regions. And then it's the second and third teams from Premier. So in America, we have Rush, who fell to TSM at Global Challenge Land, and Luminosity. And in Europe, we have LDLC, who lost to Kingwin, and Rogue, right? So I don't know. If I was a betting man, I would say Heroic and LDLC from Europe, and probably Splice Selfless, I would say. I mean,
you don't have much faith by Luminosity?
Yeah, I mean, they just recently made a coaching change, so it's probably better than making an actual like active personnel change, but I think that might affect them a little bit. They fell early in the Las Vegas qualifier, I believe, so we haven't seen too much of them. They did look better than Splice, I will give them that, but they're not playing Splice, so that does nothing good. That doesn't help them at all.
I mean, Splice themselves are not looking very good in general, so.
Yeah. So.
Speaking, though, of important qualifiers, and that starts tomorrow, right? Or today. Isn't it today?
Tomorrow, I believe.
Yeah.
Is when it starts.
Yeah, you're right. My bad. All right.
Yes.
So in any case, we did have, what's it called? The NA Las Vegas Squalls, which I mentioned already with Misfits. But then we had Renegades and Complexity, and Complexity were given a bit of a gift, you could say, considering they had to play a Liquid who were in Europe, and I think it was like 6 a.m. when they finished, or 7 a.m. probably.
Yeah, they started that BO3 at like 5 a.m. local time in the Netherlands, which is where the Team Liquid house is. So, yeah, I even tweeted it out. I was like, if Complexity are ever going to qualify for a premier event, this will be the time when they have to play 100+ ping Liquid, who had been playing from like 6 p.m. their time to fucking 6 in the morning. So, I mean, good on them. We'll see what they can do. Obviously, you expect them to be far, far, far outclassed by the rest of the teams that will be attending that event. So, we'll see if they can surprise us.
Yeah, you did have some interesting drop downs though, like Complexity taking down Immortal. Wasn't there a stand-in situation there? I didn't follow this. I'm sorry if I.
Immortals were playing with Zach, their coach. Obviously, the writing on the wall is there that Phelps will be exiting that roster to go to SK. Everyone basically assumes that FNX will be filling in that slot in Immortals. As far as I'm aware, like FNX could potentially already be at the Immortals house. So if that's the case, I don't know why they're not using him. The only thing I can think of is for like social media reasons they're not doing it, because it's too fucking confusing to be like, oh, we signed this guy, but SK and Immortals want to like be in lockstep, so they want to present it as a trade. You know what I mean? So they don't want to do like the Dignitas Astralis K or B Cajun B thing where people can't figure out like why this guy can play and this guy can't, yada yada yada, so on and so forth. Which I think is stupid, because they're shooting themselves in the foot now just to make it easier on their social media person. I don't know, whatever.
I don't know.
Their prerogative.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't, because of that, you could argue they've squandered this chance here, because Complexity probably should have bowled them over if they were playing with 5 elite players. I don't know. Energy also had to use stand-ins for Breeze and Markey.
Yeah.
And
they were in China.
Yeah. And interestingly, though, they did take the first map off Renegades before getting deleted, but still interesting that they did some damage at first. Anyways, though, good for Renegades and good for Complexity in that regard. So finally, today, Fate, you I think were very quick to notice this before the news was out about Fates. Is it Fates?
I say Fedges, but I don't know if that's correct.
I just say the Polish. I should say the Polish way, so treating a J as a Y. So
okay,
but I might be wrong, because Estonian is not close to Polish at all. It's only linguistically similar to Finnish, from what I know. But so Fate's coming over to Denial, second roster move for this team. Huitin, the old man had to go. Bye. But I mean, he's not old. He's 24. But that balding head, I just see.
He's as old as I am. Like, he's actually younger than I am, which is crazy. I just figured that out today, or noticed that today when I was looking at his page. But yeah, I noticed this last night, and actually had dropped the line with Ray from Denial to see if he would talk to me. Apparently, he'd rather talk to Luis than me, but whatever.
That's because Luis gets shit done. I mean, he's got his fingers everywhere. He's a veteran, so what can you say?
He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's been around since the Gottfrag days and earlier.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, this isn't too surprising based on the fact that Whitten gets kicked from, like, every lineup, even when he's forming it. So, but there were, like, intimation of personal issues that meant he couldn't travel back to the U.S. and live there and play there, so I hope it's nothing too serious and hope he can get that sorted out. He is still technically on the roster, so whether that's just like riding his contract out to get salary or what, I don't know what the situation is. But so now they're rocking over there in Denial like a 4-nationality team, right? You got the Americans, the French guy, the Swede, and the Estonian. Mm-hmm. So they'll be hoping to have a more convincing premier campaign this season. They got knocked out of the Las Vegas Open qualifier, but were playing with 2 stand-ins, including like the owner and then just like some random dude who's like probably a source buddy of Angers. I don't know. So that didn't go too well for them.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine. But yeah, we kind of gave our thoughts about this team when we talked about the Maxi add-in. Although, I mean, now Fate's he's a young gun, and there's this recent export, or not yet, but people have been talking about Estonian talent. We've got that boy Ropes, and we've got, who's the other really good player who played alongside Fates?
HS.
HS, yeah.
You got like HS, Chetty
too. That's right.
Rops and Fetch would be like the big guys, I guess.
Yeah, so expect to maybe see more of them. What was HS was on? You gotta help me out here. He was on a team recently.
Well, he was part of Rogue, and then he was spelling in Penta like towards the end of Pro League season. People thought they would pick him up, but that didn't work out. So
yeah, okay.
They're definitely on people's radar. You know, like it's like the new Spain. You know, like people just like be like, oh shit, there's good players here, and then they just sign like the top 3 or 4. And then everyone else is like, what the fuck do we do? I don't know.
I don't know if that was an Estonian accent or a Spanish accent, but yeah, Spain was kill. So Estonia will be sucked dry next. It's like mining in Africa, you know? Just take the best and then fucking kill off everything else. But anyways, so over in Europe, let's just do a little bit of house cleaning and talk about the Las Vegas qualifiers there. Without having the article in front of me and without or not remembering it very well, I'm going to say it was Gambit, Mouse Sports, FaZe, and Fnatic. Would I be right? Who qualified?
I believe so.
Yes. I'm almost certain. But, yeah, so that sort of was before the NA one, so before we knew these teams that we talked about a second ago. But, yeah, I mean, pretty expected. I think G2 fell there, Flipside, Pride, and I forget the final one. But
well, Pride, who do they upset? They upset Godsent, right? Yeah.
Well, Godsent not looking very good in anybody's news radars, as you will see shortly. But go ahead.
Yeah. G2 falling to Fnatic. Now, something that a lot of people don't know is that they are going to run a lower bracket of this just in case some of these teams pull out. So it is still possible we can see some of these eliminated teams at the event if there's visa issues or some sort, and those should be being run like probably this week or next week, I think.
Aren't there going to be Tyloo issues?
Potentially. We have to see what happens. Like the original news was that somebody was suspended, and then I suspect he quickly was unsuspended when Starladder was like, you need to have at least 3 people from your team, otherwise you're going to lose a spot. So they were like, oh, we take it all back. We love you. So it is possible that similar thing happens in Las Vegas, and we just see another like Mixie Tyloo show up in Las Vegas, or they could like forfeit the spot, which in that case it would go to Vici, but things aren't exactly roses over in that camp either, so it's kind of up in the air. So could very easily be a situation where that Asian spot has to be filled by like the 4th place American team, which would be Liquid. So who really knows?
Dude, where were you when Asia CS was killed? I was sat at home waiting for Valve to fix CSGO when phone is ring. Ginny is best player Asia. No.
Dude, we talked about Ginny's new army that she has, right? They signed like 4 players and dropped 1, so she has like 8 players on that roster. Dang.
Also sounds like a Thai bath.
Everyone just wants to hang out with the waifu. Your waifu.
Yeah, dude, I gotta hit her up, honestly. I've been talking about it too much to not hit her up. All right. So, IEM Katowice was announced, and I don't have much to say here. I do think, I don't want to be an ESL basher, but I do think the order they invited the 4 teams in was like classic, like ticket. Well, we'll sell tickets, which is fine. It's like in business. But I guess when ESL does it, it's funny to me. So first it was VP and NIP. So, you know, you got the Polish contingent, and then you got NIP, whom without apparently you can't sell out, you know, the E-League Major, or I don't know. Someone was complaining on Reddit that it's not sold out yet, I think.
Really? Because weren't people worried that the venue was too small? Like they only have like 5,000 capacity or something?
Yep. Yeah. Well, anyways, yeah, NIP. And I'm sure inviting them as a duo gives those intimations of the legendary, you know, EMS, Katowice, 2014, and other matchups. But that's the one that always comes to my mind. And then we had SK and Astralis, so, you know, best team in the world, and then former best team, who will by that point, you know, have not Phelps but Phelps.
Right.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, that's all I have to say there. So we did talk. Oh no, we didn't yet. 'Cause I was gonna say WSG, but that's in recent tournaments. But yeah, Godsent. Oh man, they fucked up.
Continuing the trend of land dodges in 2017. 3 high-profile ones. We're not even a fucking month into it. We have more land dodges in 2017 than we had all of 2016. So we're on a record-setting pace.
No, 4 high-profile ones, because Stich not coming to Fragadelphia.
That is true.
So 4.
I'll give you 3.5.
3.5. Well, in any case, and it was pretty bad because the news came out and there wasn't really a reason given for it, and people were maybe they thought nobody would care because WSG, China, not all the teams there. The players are probably like, I don't want to go, but then it really started heating up. You had Thorin tweeting about it. You had, I think it was like 2 other. What are you saying?
I'm sure Thorin saw my tweet, and that's why he had to send his tweet because I said the same thing Thorin did 12 hours earlier. Just saying.
I believe it, or no, I mean I know it. But yeah, so they finally had to come out. I think it was JW on Reddit or something. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty poorly handled, pretty unprofessional. Hopefully they learned their lesson and won't do it again. They could have won.
But that's not accurate. Like, that for a fact that's not the case.
No. Young Swedish video game playing males. I mean, do they regularly get together and do lessons learned and goals for the future? I highly doubt it. Lessons
learned. Don't continue letting illegal Muslims into the country. Nope.
Goals for the future. Continue. So another Swedish story. Nothing to say here about a young Swedish male, but it is a young Swedish male, I guess. We have Hampus, who filled in for Epsilon at WSG. Once again, not much to say. It was just because of the nationality rules. I
don't even know why they bothered putting in like a presser about it, because it was known that he was going to be standing in for them for like 2 weeks, and like because Draken tweeted about it, and like the org tweeted about it too, and then I guess 2 weeks later they were like, shit, we need an announcement. I don't fucking know why. It was very weird.
Yeah. And then of course we announced in tandem, but yeah, I mean, 1 second. I need to see where they finished, because outside of the top 4, I don't remember. Didn't they finish 5 through 8? Okay, so they slid into that prize money. They just slid in, so not bad with the stand-in. So
yeah, a stand-in for their stand-in.
Yeah. So keep your. I mean, just like if you think about it, for him, there's a good opportunity to get noticed. So maybe things could come his way.
Yeah. And I think he performed pretty adequately. I didn't get to watch a lot of the event because, well, not many people did, because there were like fucking 5 matches streamed of the entire thing. But also time difference. But when I did see them playing, it looked like he was holding his own. So that's good.
Yeah. Same thing. It was, like you said, the matches weren't really streamed, and it was like at a late time when I was just chilling. So, or rather playing matchmaking and trying to get to global.
And Dark Souls.
No, just matchmaking. I'm on the road to global. I'm just outside of Supreme. But, okay, so one more Swedish story to throw in. What are you saying? I wrote DH Leipzig. I think I just accidentally left something here, because the DH Leipzig, that's not news. That's recent tournament. But anyways, yeah, something you already talked about on the previous episode. Or was it the one with Drawan?
Oh, yeah. We talked about... Well, we didn't talk about this actually new evolution of it. We may have mentioned that Jazar would have been exiting Fnatic Academy on the last episode.
That's what you mentioned, yes.
Yeah. So, we only bring you the freshest, most accurate leaks that did come to pass. And another Jay-Z Walkings, stood in for Fnatic Academy at DreamHack Leipzig. There's nothing permanent there yet, but from my understanding, they would like it to be. Again, his former team, Crowns, was playing with a almost completely new 5 today in the Las Vegas not the Katowice qualifier. They were playing with the 3 leftover members, as well as Zelos and YZN. So Zelos may be finding a new home for himself. But Yeah, Fnac Academy looked okay at DH Leipzig. We'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah, we will. I mean, okay, the 5th to 6th, but it's an 8-team event, so, you know.
I mean, they did better than the other Swedish team that was there.
Right. Right.
Featuring your boy.
Yes, the meme team with Bill. Bill's meme nightmare is what they should call that team. All right, so another
Bill and Peta's not so excellent adventure.
another news that was like, okay, we know that was written yesterday, I think, was Sonny being signed to Penta. The tweet was kind of funny though, because it said instead of finish, it was like
one end,
right? And a superstar. Yeah, I don't know, but the picture was cool. It made it look very professional. They were doing like the football, and by football I mean soccer. The football handshake and the jersey.
Right.
Or does that happen in American football too?
I think it's like a pretty typical like draft sort of a thing. Like if you were to watch like the NBA draft or the NFL draft, they would do that sort of a thing. So
I don't watch drafts, so there you have it.
No, me either. But I think it's pretty ubiquitous with just like sporting in general. So I wish it was like that when I like signed for an office job. Like it was something like, you get a nice Patagonia sweater, you can shake, put it on your fridge.
Yeah, I wish it were like that too. Not just get handed over to some indifferent HR lady who just like abandons you halfway through your first day, which is what happened to me. But
that's what happens to most people.
Yeah, I know. She's like, I don't have time for this. Anyways, so now 6 Finnish players have been saved from total winter abandonment. We've got iGame, doing their thing, and we've got Sunny, and everybody else is buried under the snow like, I want to die, perkele.
Don't forget about you got Alu and Waylander, so it's like 7 or 8.
Okay, Waylander, he's Russian.
They wanted. It's fine line, yeah.
He's Russian blood. That's what some like Russian nationalist is gonna say who watches this show.
Did I? I don't know if I told you this, but so I told you about like my misadventures with the Hellraisers crew at the bar in Atlanta. Yeah. I don't know if I mentioned this, but like I think I told you how Angel is like exactly what you expect in real life, but I don't think I mentioned that Angel literally speaks with blats. I don't know if that's just when he's drinking or like that's a thing, but like he would speak a sentence, pause, blat, and then continue the sentence.
God, that's always funny to hear from an outside perspective, but coming from Polish culture, and like some Polish people really annoy me because they say kurwa as a comma, like, oh, wiesz, kurwa, on do mnie, kurwa, I kurwa, robi to kurwa. And I just view it as a sign of being, like, poorly educated, to be honest. It's kind of annoying. It sounds funny, but it's annoying. But I don't know how it is for Russia. I just know in Poland that's how it is. So I was going to say nothing in CIS, but then I was taking a little gander over at player transfers, and it looks like we had a bit of a Kazakh change-up.
Yeah. Kazakh apocalypse.
Yeah, I'm very sad. Keane retired, right? The older player.
Yeah, but he has to be like what, 30, 40.
He's 27.
Like I said, 40.
Dude, he's a handsome dude though. I would smash in the yurt.
In the yurt.
me and Mongol culture. It's a love affair.
Yeah, a little bit of a shakeup. Keane retiring, Dastan going from Tengri to Zarlands because Galantis got kicked from Zarlands. So a little bit of a shuffle there. And then we have the two Kyrgyzstanis. Pachanga and SNK filling in the slots in Tengri. The more astute of you may remember those names. They played for the Kurd TWC team, which I forget the exact circumstances that wound up in them going to LAN, but I think it was like South Africa couldn't go, so like Kyrgyzstan went, or like something crazy like that. And then they actually performed like okay.
Yeah, they made a bit of a splash because they finished 5th through 8th, and then they had like an HLTV article about them and like how they want to move up in life, but then the unfortunate flip side of life hit them, and they've been struggling to sort of hit that tier 3 level even. This could be a chance here.
Some even spicier news out of Kazakhstan. This won't get posted till tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can say this then. we thought we would get a major with no visa issues. Not the case. Talking to Hobbit today, and he says it's looking tomorrow is his last day to get it, and it's looking not great.
Oh.
So that fucking sucks because we saw what he could do on like the big stage at what was that, DreamHack Winter. It would be nice to see some more of that. So I really hope that he's able to attend. But if not, I don't even know what I mean, I assume Kane would be their sixth and he would play, but that pretty much removes like all chance of Gambit performing well at the event, I would say.
Well, you broke that on me, and that's very sad. Although, if he does get to stay home, I would fly in Keen, and we would smash in the yurt. Us three, the Kazakh winter. Yeah, I don't know. Although I wouldn't be flying in that area recently. I don't know if you heard there was like a B747 that came down in Kyrgyzstan today.
Yeah, like on top of a village or something.
Yeah, on top of like an It was called the Aviator Village.
Yeah. I saw it only killed like 30 people though, which like for a 747 crashing, that's not too bad.
Well, it's a freight, and in fact, sorry, little aside, guys. 747s are no longer popular in the passenger world. In fact, Boeing's like latest version only sells freighters. It's because they're not economical, and with 2 engines, it's better, obviously. So yeah, like they still fly passenger versions, but you're gonna see mostly freighters now. Anyways, yeah. So like the last 3 crashes of 747s have all been freighters. Okay, guys, there's my little aside.
That was the Aviation Minute brought to you by Michal Stich Mayakovsky.
It's my boss.
Boeing, you can pay us up anytime, Boeing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we're back. I had Tyloo, but we talked about it. So we're just fucking crushing it.
We're motoring along here.
Yeah, motoring along. So can you give me a little rundown in Oceania of the Zen League? I think we talked about it a bit, but I saw there was the final, I think the qualifications ended or something.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to...
We did talk about it. We did actually talk about it.
We have talked about it, but there was like a bit of a kerfluffle because there was supposed to be like a bigger offline qualification sort of a thing. And then I don't remember exactly what happened. I would have to ask. Here we go. Right. So they were supposed to run like another basically like Crown Invitational, which was like supposed to run alongside the Zen qualifier, and then for whatever reason they couldn't. And they were gonna have like $15,000 prize pool. But yeah, so they ran an offline qualifier with 4 Australian teams, Immunity, Avant-Garde, Dark-Sided, and Legacy. And probably the funniest anecdote to come out of this story, or to come out of this event, is the fact that Parallax just literally showed up with Avant jerseys, and that was how like people knew like, oh hey, you guys got signed by Avant, I guess. So that was funny.
They do things differently down there, mate.
They do. Although that was leaked by ESCA Transactions as well, and of course only yours truly noticed or cares. Even Alex was like, that's weird, I don't think it matters or means anything. I'm like, dude.
And when he says Alex, he means the HLTV contributor Flames with a 3.
Yes.
And also Alex. A weeaboo.
Alex Dang.
Yes.
You can't be a weeaboo if you're Asian though, right?
Yes you can. That's like the number one thing.
I thought like you just assumed Asians were weeaboos by default.
No. If you do weeaboo things in Japan, you're an otaku. But outside of Japan, if like you're just a random Korean kid, you're a fucking weeaboo. I have shout outs to I think on Twitter he's called Starbucks NA, but he's like a big follower of mine. He's like a Korean, Polish, American manga reading upcoming intellectual. I'm surrounding myself with these young upcoming intellectuals that I play CS with. I've already got one in my crew. This is the number 2 on the come up. But yeah, usually when I tweet, he'll have like some thought, especially if it's like a deeper tweet. Yeah. So what you were saying is.
So yeah, we have 4 Australian teams qualified for this event now, being Tainted Minds, Chiefs, Dark-Sided, and Immunity, and there's supposed to be 4 more Asian teams that are gonna be participating in this, but it has not been established how those teams are going to be found, whether there will be like some invites and some qualifiers or all qualifiers or what. And we're not even really sure what the format of this event's going to be. Like if it's going to be played out online with offline finals, or if they're going to like fly everyone to like fucking Singapore and play LAN. We don't really know. So be on the lookout for more info about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely up your and I's street because it's treating these regions of the world that are so distant, you know, to North America and Europe, like Oceania and then Asia, and they'll be having a mix-up of their own in terms of teams. So usually it would be the other way, like you'd have the Australians flying to Singapore to play so they can then play in Asia, but maybe this one will go backwards. That could be
right.
Cool.
Right. And I don't know if you saw, this might have been skipped your radar, but there was an announcement of like a female only LAN in Australia.
I saw your retweet, but I didn't bother to read about it.
Yeah. It's done by the Peanut Gallery guys, so I think it's going to be like 6 teams. So you have like Serena, your
My
Twitter
girl.
waifu,
Yeah.
and Twist's girlfriend, Kara. They're actually on the same team, I think. And there's not really any like other notable Australian female players, but there may be soon, I guess, after that. And I did notice what looks cool is that most of those teams are actually being coached by like notable male players. So like James from Immunity is coaching one, Sonic from Tainted Minds is coaching one, and I forget who one of the other ones is. But so like I'm pretty sure that's not something that they do like as a full-time thing, but it's like a nice thing of outreach, I guess. I don't know. We've talked about like the female question a lot on this show, and I think everyone knows that we're not really big fans of it.
No, I'm fans of female players, just not fans of a closed circuit.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
The old Semphis at ESWC 2015, coaching CLG Red to victory.
That was the only way he was going to win a LAN.
No, that's the one where, oh god, I have nightmares about it to this day. That motherfucker Mohan stole all my free karma and visibility by interviewing him while I was busy with another interview, and that was the famous Adderall interview.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn it.
I think you can even see me in the background of that interview at one point. Or no, I'm wrong. Because there was like transparent glass on one end, but they set it up the other way. But I was using that exact same area for interviews. If you go back and see, yeah. Those were good times, man. That was my CS come up.
It could have been you, man. You could have been in Boxer Stitch.
Oh, yeah. Famous Dark Souls player, Dark Souls 3 PvP. As I recently said, I'm the greatest in the world. Except I'm not. All right, so that's it for Global Scoop. And over in Who, aside from the Kazakh implosion, I did see Kogu got together.
Kogu's back again.
He got together some guys and he was like, Brazil CS is not dead. Put together IDX Gaming. I haven't seen a lot of these individuals' names, but I do see they have Liquipedia player pages, so they must be somewhat. Oh, yeah, so an INTS player. Here's an INTS player. You were going to say something?
Yeah, all these guys, like, Zand has been, like, inactive for a little bit, but Gutto, FV, and Invul are, like, you know, players that have been around the Brazilian scene, like, for a while, with some inactivity, like, recently. Like, I believe they played together in Anova and some other teams. So this is, like, you know, take number 5 of the Kogu reunion tour and expect it to end exactly the same way that the first 4 did, would be my guess.
Okay. Switching back to your Twitter, I did see you retweeted that, I wouldn't say our boy, let's just call him that guy, because it's actually in his Twitter handle, but Smuya is...
Oh shit, that boy. Yeah.
He's on the hunt for an org to represent. So has he kind of burned some bridges, or is it just that it's kind of hard to make it as a UK player outside of the UK?
So, as I'm aware, this, like, org dropping them is not, like, because of him. It's because of the fact that he's on a team with Pashilla and Tarzik. Both of which have...
Isn't Tarzik a cheater?
Tarzik is allegedly a cheater and has been banned by Powerland. He maintains his innocence, yada, yada, yada. I don't know one way or another. Pashilla has a Faceit ban, has not been banned on ESEA, but I don't know if you saw Existence literally tweeted it out, like saying like, hey, ESEA, you have this guy like cheating, like his name's Bashilla, can you like do something about it? And ESEA doesn't do manual bans like 99% of the time. So they're infamous, let's just say that.
Did I tell you my Tarzik story?
Did you? I don't think so.
When he added me on Steam?
No, but he probably did the same thing to me, so
he just wanted to get his name changed on HLTV from an old name, which this is something my old boss, Peter, would always say, is that he always found players who changed their names suspicious, because it's like they've got something to hide. He had some previous name. I forget what it was. It wasn't Tarzik, it was something else, and he wanted it changed. I'm not saying, dude, the way I set this story up makes it seem like guilty by association kind of shit, but no, that's like that's a red herring, you know. But yeah, I was always a little on the fence because of that, because I was like, why do you want to change your name? But then again, you have people like Android X23 or Connor93 who has names like Pussy Slayer or whatever. If you go on his like ESEA name history, he has some crazy names.
Yeah, now he's just going by Isaac randomly, just confusing all our match admins. I'm just like, no, I promise you it's Connor.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so that's why there's that.
So yeah, I'm assuming what happens is that people will keep on contacting their orgs and being like, hey, these dudes are like implicated in some shady shit. And then what happened in this particular case is the org pulled out the salary from the players. And so the players said, well, if you're not paying us, like, why the fuck are we here? So they're out. So they had like a 2-week tenure there, you know, even shorter than an Orbit, lifespan. So.
Oh, I've got some juicy news for you guys. Two pieces actually. One you can handle, and all the other is just something I'll mention. Our last episode, I got hold up. I got Tossin confused with Robson, and this show is like, I don't know. We just bend the actual world of CS to conform to our illusions. Because then Robson, I think the day the episode released, was signed again to Planet Key Dynamics.
Back with Planet Key. Getting the band back together.
Getting all the young cheaters, putting them in one boat. Actually, I don't know. These guys are cheating. Probably not. But yeah, so there was that. Robson returns. A player at a major, as some who recently entered the scene might not know. I was thinking of making a list, actually, for Twitter, of players who have played at majors, but before the player signatures were introduced, so they don't have player signatures. I don't think anyone's done that before.
I think I actually have seen something like that, but I'm not sure. There was someone who just made it back to a major, I think, that maybe was at like the first one, and so it never had a signature. I'm not sure exactly.
I'll have to check. All right, so the second one that you can handle is this this Colombian team that Vault signed. Didn't you hear something about how they're getting paid?
Like basically not really. Like basically like ESEA fees. So I don't know. It's like so this is
slave labor.
This is basically the lineup that played at WESG, with the exception of Sickly, who obviously will be on Miami Flamingos.
But yet nobody is much nobody has much to see from the Flamingos, but I assume once the life of cocaine and hookers in Miami dies down, they'll have to get on the computer.
Well, you missed an interesting one, which is this Brazilian lineup, with Bit and PRD and Spaka and K-Tex. And they don't have a name yet, so I've taken to calling them as LIBR, Left in Brazil, because these are all the other players that were playing with the Orbit guys, and the Orbit guys made their own team, and then these guys just like, So that's what I am affectionately calling this collection of misfits.
Okay. I'll give it to you. All right, so a few more things that I'll run down, and feel free to. I'm gonna just say these and like not really stop. So feel free to interrupt if you must. There's some changes in Austria, if anybody cares. Leisure fell apart, and then was it the same people? Yeah, it was, and then they got signed to Team Private, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we had 1 second. There's a few here that you can talk about, but I just want to get a few things out of the way. In Spain, we had another dissolution. Baskonia Esports, probably very who, as far as who goes. And then, okay, back to sort of things that I see we're talking about. Minette off of Rogue is the coach, right?
Yeah, and that news came out like basically as DreamHack Leipzig opened up. As it turned out, they had Lame there coaching them, who previously was coaching Heroic, like Team X Heroic, which is interesting because he had recently just like, as Danes are wont to do, another lineup with like Haste and SMF and Lame and some other players had gotten together on like January 8th.
I remember.
So, Denmark going to Denmark.
Yep, Denmark going to Denmark. All right, so yeah, you already alluded to this with Parallax showing up with Avant shirts, but before that, we had Avant, of course, dropping all their players, which was after our show came out, and then we had Jam Gaming signing a few Australians, so that went down. And finally, I guess the only thing that comes to mind in the Who section, unless you have something else, is Medhen went inactive.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta feel a bit bad, the French player.
Gotta feel a bit bad for a French player.
No, I said gotta feel a bit bad, the French player.
Oh.
This was like one of the 5 players that Bircho at ESWC 2016 didn't take a photo of, and my OCD, I was tagging the players because I love doing that, and I was so fucking triggered that there was no photo of him. Or he didn't tag him. I don't know. I don't think his photo for HLTV was ever updated for that very reason. Although, shout out to... actually, should I do this? I probably shouldn't. I recently updated photos for CLG Red, and I got a thank you out of that, so...
Oh, yeah?
You might be interested. No, but yeah, I did my part. And speaking of things that I've done recently, I wrote an article. I don't know if you noticed.
I didn't.
I wrote one of the WESG articles. It was late in the night, and Kingwin were butt-smashing VP, which we will actually talk about in a hot minute. But yeah, I was like, I got to cash in on this. I got to write the article, because I don't think any...
This Polish karma. I need it.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't think any other news writers were up, so I just went with it. All right, so I'm closing down the Who section, closing the doors of the garage, so to speak. You good with that?
I'm good.
Okay, you don't want to join us in the Kazakh yurt?
No, I'm good. Yeah,
okay,
like,
you're good.
You seem
like I'm cozy? Okay. All right, so I guess Shady and Spooky does have to come first chronologically. Maybe Shady Spooky should be closer to CS Goad for future reference, though. Because these are more like where we just free improvise, free form, just smash on people. But whatever. So the biggest thing here is definitely Fragadelphia. You were there, so maybe you can tell me more.
I was.
But there was some controversy. There were a lot of players wearing beanies or hats, as I am right now. That's number one. Then we had, Swag's team. I think it was called Free Brax, right?
Yep.
Yeah, there was that whole thing with the pterodactyls having a smoke and a armor thing. And then the players were like, oh, we didn't know. And then the comms came out, and Whitmer's clearly telling her to do it. And then, they more flame on the fire. I think Whitmer and pterodactyls had statements, and they both kind of backfired. Yeah, it didn't go very well.
Yeah, and it's kind of a shame because, they kind of, made the entire, mountain into a molehill. Everyone was, fucking bundled up there because there was no, actual functioning heat in, the warehouse that they were playing in with the main stage. So I think in Whitmer's, Twit Longer, he said that it was, 18 degrees Fahrenheit, when they were playing at, 4 a.m. In that match. So, everyone was fucking bundled up. Swag is not from the Northeast, so I'm sure that the cold probably isn't something he's very used to or agrees with very well. So Whitmer had the fucking hand warmers on his ears, all just a bunch of fucking ridiculous shit. And you and I both Steve, his team were doing everything they could do. They went out and rented a generator and 2 fucking huge space heaters, mega intense space eaters that were literally shooting out flame. Like, they got them, and then they couldn't even put them up for like 2 hours on Saturday because there were literally like fire concerns. So they had to wind up putting them like kind of in like the corner of the back of the warehouse. So I don't know, like they probably were helping, but not as much as you would hope. If you saw like anything like any on the stream, producer Rob was like the producer for the event, and like he literally had like 10 layers on, like just sitting behind the green screen. So it was, yeah, it's unfortunate what happened with the whole Braxton thing, and then they had to like wind up replaying the map, and the circumstance that they did that in were like pretty unideal because they didn't replay the map that like was affected. They played like a completely different map that Swag's team had like banned because they were bad on it, hence why they banned it. So that was another weird thing, but I don't know. There's a lot going on. Like, it's basically Steve and his team, like his small team of guys, like doing everything they can to like keep the wheels from coming off with this event. So it's unfortunate that like the exposure that it seemed to get was much more like negative than positive.
No, I later saw it made it to the top of Reddit when it was like Bach fishing in the background. All the comments were positive, and people were saying the event was fun. So I think the exposure was negative for Swag and Whitmer and for Pterodactyls, but I don't think it was negative for the event. I mean, maybe you could argue that some of the mishaps in logistics, which sometimes it can be beyond people's control, especially if you have budgetary constraints, could cause that. But yeah, I mean, all I gotta say is, Whitmer, bro, you gotta free yourself. Stop trying to smash.
He's not trying. He's yeah, I mean, they're dating, so.
Oh, really? They are?
Yeah.
Fuck. I'll just always make jokes about not trying to smash, so, but yeah, that, I guess.
Whitmer, recently, I discovered friend of the show,
Oh, yeah, I know he is.
We were chatting at Fragadelphia, and, introduced myself. He says, you already know this, but I'll just tell the fans. He says, oh, yeah, I listen to your show while I DM. You guys are smart as fuck. I was like, thanks, dude. Appreciate that. So, he may be seeing him on here sometime soon.
All right, first of all, before he was a fan of the show, he was a fan of your boy.
Whatever.
Because I was out there killing it with my articles, writing shit like, fuck off, JW. Just kidding, that never happened. That's just my favorite meme. All right, so anyways, I think that's it for Shady and Spooky. It was just the Fragadelphia mishaps. Overall, though, I saw some positive compliments about it having like a NA land feel, so that's good.
I had a great time. I mean, there's like, we don't have many of those events in NA, like certainly not with a prize pool like that. Yeah. That was pretty decent.
Steve, if you're listening, I do want to go to a future one. Once I stop getting cucked by my work, where they're like, hey, he's the new guy, have him do everything.
Dude, you were at fucking AGDQ. I don't want to hear your bullshit. You could have been there.
I wasn't at AGDQ. Is 10 minutes drive from where I work, and first of all, they didn't let me in, those motherfucking betas. I was so
they didn't wait, really?
No, I walked through the door where the arcade thing was, right? God damn, I hate betas so much. So, and then I went, and there's like a security guard, like an African American dude, and he just looked like he didn't like the look of me. First of all, maybe because
why is it important that he's African American?
Well, I'm giving you guys coloring to the story, literally.
That's racist.
No, but listen, because it was really the interplay between like this like butch security guard, and it doesn't matter if he was African American, but it was like the interplay between this butch security guard and these beta ass desk people that fucked me over, and I couldn't even get in for a picture. I just wanted a picture, so I went up to him, and he already was just not having it. Probably, I'll tell you right now, because if you're a security guard, the last thing you want to do is stand at an event like that and have to check people's badges. Like, it's not even Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition event. It's like the most strangely shapen people you've seen in your entire life. Like kids with fucking noodle arms or like triple bellies, weird hair, acne. Checking that. So yeah, he was not in a good mood right away. He was like, no, you can't go in for a picture. Go ask them. I go over to them. These people, it was two chicks and a guy. They're not like us. They don't speak English. Like, they didn't understand me. I was just asking them a question. They're just staring at me like as if a human who wants to barter with them was talking to a robot or something. And they were like, no, you don't have a pass. And I went back to the security guard. I was like, No, wait, I took a break. I went back and I was like, not even a picture. And he's like, no. And I was like, I don't want to annoy you. He's like, you already are. Okay. God damn it.
Okay.
So then I hopped in my fucking BMW and drove home to my big house. Got him.
That'll show him.
Yeah, god damn it. But yeah, I mean, I don't ever expect to see me trying to visit an AGDQ ever again. Nor will I ever donate. I will save cancer on my own.
I saw that people were getting like butthurt at Notch for donating because I think he was like mixing political statements or something with it, and like Notch is actually like someone who's achieved success in the video game world who actually isn't a fucking retard politically.
Yeah, so political
he's
beta.
He's much more right aligned than left aligned, and people don't like that.
Of course,
they don't find it safe.
Yep.
They don't think that they're safe. I no longer feel safe.
Yeah, but maybe he might even be left aligned, but I just think some people have it in them, and I have this personality trait too, that when you see people being so mindless like drones and just running in a fucking like cow herd just to protect themselves, it just pisses you off. And
some people are born instigators. I'm going to tell you a true story. I don't even know what I believe in politically anymore, but I just know that what I tell people I believe pisses them the fuck off, and it's great.
Yeah, see, this is why we get along. It's so obnoxious, this cowherd mentality, and then the attempts to take people down. So good on Notch for that. There was a lot of drama for that one. There was, I don't know if you saw on the final day during the Metroid run, people were doing like wah noises in the back. I don't know why. And then some guy got on the mic and he was like, "None of you guys are funny. If you want to save cancer, you should stand out front by the shuttle and get hit." You should go on the speedrun subreddit and see it. And then the announcer was like, "No, please don't do that. Nobody talk for the rest of the run." So nobody talked. It was 20 minutes of silence.
Oh, man.
And then speaking of Dark Souls, like Bubbles Del Fuego, who's not really a runner for Dark Souls, ran it, and he like fucked up a lot. So all the Dark Souls runners made fun of him, like laughed about how shit he was, and then people, of course, in the speedrun community were like, "Safe space." They're laughing about it. And the runner himself was like, "I don't care," but you know, the actual betas got worked up about it. Just
right,
disgusting
before we
times.
Into the full political side story here.
No, don't worry. I was done, but I just gave you guys the rundown.
But yeah, to close out Fragadelphia, I had a great time there. We had, I guess, do you want to talk about it in recent, or you just want to talk about it now?
No, talk about it in recent. So,
all right.
So first and foremost, WESG.
Keeping up with the Shady Spooky, WESG, because there's plenty of Shady Spooky here.
You can go into that if you want, but I just wanted to talk about the results. I mean, fucking envious. No, I'm kidding. That's good. They were definitely. I think I would have put it. I would have had my guess as like VP to win, envious to number 2. That's what I probably would have said. So kind of expected. Kingwin not expected. VP seems like it's it's like just like in 2015 where they won Dubai and then they like went into the shitter. I feel like that's what's happening again. Like they're so strong in late 2016 and now. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see at the major. Space Soldiers almost had a chance of glory. They in the semifinal they got so close to beating Envy. Yeah. They won the first map. They lost in double overtime. Imagine that if they had won the event over Kingwin.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like VP, like people are gonna like always be like, did they actually like really want to be there? Like, were they really giving it their all? Like, maybe they were just like, let's let these secondary citizen Polish guys like have a win for once. You know what I mean? Like, give them a chance. We already have mountains of fucking money. We don't need any more. It's okay. Let.
Well, now King would have mountains of money.
Well, and see what people aren't picking up on now is that at WESG, Neo's dad was actually named as the manager of Kingwin. So could be a little collusion there.
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
What does that mean to be named as the manager of Kingwin?
I don't fucking know.
Maybe they just penciled it. I don't know. That's strange. You brought that to my attention, and I have to say that is strange. So I guess then Tyloo, I'm surprised to see them make it into 5th through 8th. I mean, they must have been drugging their opponents or something, as the Chinese are wont to do, because like this Tyloo lineup was certainly not the one of yore. But yeah, and then we had Dark Passage. So Turkey really showing up here with a 4th place finish and a 5th through 8th place finish. And then, as we already mentioned, Epsilon and iGame also pretty strong. They're one of those teams we talk about alongside Epsilon and Fnatic Academy is like the China beaters, like
China killers.
Yeah, they just fly out to China for that free money and poontang. Probably not the second, but I wanted to say it. Have you noticed when I want to say something, I don't stop? I was like, should I say it? Okay, I'll say it.
No, I know that there's a lack of a filter going on there.
There's absolutely a lack of a filter. So in terms of maybe not so rosy finishes, Dot Russia for sure. Quetzal, no, not really. I was gonna say maybe because of Marky, but that whole team, like in general, isn't that impressive. And Selfless definitely, and maybe Ukraine. So Russia, Selfless, Ukraine.
Selfless made it out of groups. I think they did okay. Like they're playing with a mix and a player that doesn't play for them anymore. So that's a little bit of an odd situation. I would actually point at JYP as a big disappointment.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I didn't notice them at the bottom of it. Jesus Christ.
And Bravado not making it out of groups. That we saw like some good stuff. We saw flashes of brilliance from them at Mountain Dew Land, so we would have hoped for them to continue. And another like just interesting thing is that while Subtle didn't win any maps, they did go to overtime with VP. So like, and they were playing with a fucking coach, remember, who like doesn't play the game really.
Yeah.
So like, just imagine if fucking Warren was there with them. Like, could they have dragged that?
Well, that's what pisses me off. He was saying shit in those text messages like, "Oh, look at the groups, we're gonna get destroyed." I mean, I'll take this back if he has some like serious personal issues, and I don't know. We hear that he's like terminally ill or something, but seriously, just really obnoxious. They could have done some damage, maybe won a map or two and gone to China. Look at Bravado. They had to go from South Africa to California to China. They did a goddamn world tour. You didn't hear them complaining.
Yeah.
Well, that's the difference in mindset. Well, whatever. So yeah, JYP, I mean, it was only a few episodes ago I was calling them a top 5 Asian team, or Southeast Asian, I think is what I said.
Yep.
But big backfire here. I don't know what ranking they were on or where they were in HLTV's ranking, but I'm sure they went way down from this. Okay, so the other event, of course, aside from Fragadelphia, was Leipzig. Flipside winning. Always Flipside they're dat boy, man. They just roll in on the unicycle, when you're not expecting them to win. I mean, admittedly, this is not DreamHack Leipzig from last year, as I said in the previous episode, but I mean, you still have your hitters and Heroic who are like perennially not winning events now, just finishing somewhere in the middle. And of course, Rogue, who won Global Challenge, Big, who did big, and props to them for tilting Rogue off the face of the earth.
Oh my god, yeah.
They could have been in Shady Spooky, but
so embarrassing. Yeah. How do you let that happen? Come on, just fucking stay. Is it gonna kill you to stay in the server for 5 more fucking seconds? Like, just fucking stay. It's okay.
This is that streak of irrational behavior that we've already highlighted from burning your prize money checks if you're Bulgarian.
That's true. But yeah, I mean, I think the big storyline here is like more even than Flipside winning, because like they would be the highest ranked team here, I believe.
Or Heroic.
Yeah, but I mean, solid performance coming out of Big. And, we saw like a decent performance from them online in the Las Vegas qualifier, right? Which is literally like their first matches together. This is obviously their first LAN together. And they made it all the way to the finals. So, like, I think they have to be happy with that.
Absolutely.
There definitely have been, like, a lot of naysayers, like, about once again, the inclusion of both Gabi and Legia into an active playing lineup. But, like...
Even I was kind of being a little bit on the fence. I mean, I'm usually on the fence about everything because I love making jokes. But yeah, I remember last episode I was like, Gabi, Legia. But yeah, I mean, good stuff for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about like will next have a renaissance once again under Gobby's big Turkish scarfed boot. And so in the final he was like their second highest rated player after Tabson, but like that's what needs to happen for this team to like be a contender. It has to be Tabson and next at the fucking top of the scoreboard. Tabson next Kiev. Like it should be reading like that every fucking game.
Like it's like a batting order, you know.
When you see Gabi and Legia get up there towards the top of the stat sheet, that's when you have fucking problems. So they need to find a way to make that a repeatable little formula there.
Are there names? Sorry, tangent, but are there names for the batting order in baseball? Like, isn't there a name for the fourth person in the batting order, the one who would technically hit the grand slam?
The cleanup hitter.
The cleanup hitter, yeah. Well, I guess it doesn't work that way in CS, but like you need your boy Kiev or something as the cleanup hitter after Tabson and next.
Yeah, they're just going in there fucking entering the shit out of everyone, spraying everyone down, and then Kiev just goes pew pew pew. You know.
Well, you why haven't they hired you to go out to Germany and coach them? Sounds like you've got it down. I was gonna say something. Yes, I checked. Before this event, before HLTV updated their ranking today, Heroic were the highest ranked. But now for Sidear.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's that. All right, so why don't you tell us a little bit more about Fragadelphia from the results perspective? Let me load up the winner. I know it wasn't Steel's team.
No.
It was
Steel's team came in fourth.
It was United, right?
Yeah, with your boy, the Pussy Slayer, Connor 93.
And my boy Mitch, the occasional surf server. Or no, that's Nifty. But my boy Abe.
Yeah, Goat Scream. Mm-hmm. Abe brought back out of, a retirement-ish sort of a situation to link back up with his boy Jeremy 9000 from Splice. We got my boy Oso coaching this whole thing.
A.K.A. Jeremy 9000, A.K.A. Mr. Car Bombs.
Yeah.
You get the reference? Okay, that's just an old school reference.
Jeremy 9000, a.k.a. N.A. Psycho, I would say.
It's Jeremy 9000, a.k.a. one of the first people who's had to explain a joke in Twitch chat professionally.
First of many.
Yeah, there have been.
So yeah, it had kind of an interesting format here. We had not one, not two, but three different group stages. First two of which were GSL, and the third one was round robin. So there were actually teams that got eliminated from the third group that didn't get to play a BO3 the entire time, which some people were a little chuffed about, I know, on Twitter. But
that's ridiculous.
It's kind of the way the cookie crumbles. I don't really know a way that they could have been averted. I thought that after the first group, they were just going to throw them all into a giant double elimination bracket, which is usually what happens at Fragadelphia, but trying something different here. So, maybe they'll tweak it again next time. But yeah, as mentioned, there was a whole Insomnia Free Brax kerfluffle where Free Brax had qualified for that final group, and then after they replayed the map, Insomnia was in after them. So sadly, we didn't see Swagalicious on HLTV this time around. I was really hoping we would. But in the finals, yeah. So in the finals, we had E United first, followed by Dethrone in second, who is the core of the Serpentance roster from Premier last season, and they've added Juice and Ye. So Ye we've talked about previously.
That's a bit of a potential.
Yeah, interestingly, he was playing for E United last season and got cut, and so now fell to them in the finals. Then we had Ronin, another Premier team. They have this young gun, Riova, the Turkish kid, who recently moved here. His father lives here, and he's someone to watch out for. And then we had Steel's team, Don't Trust Anyone, which also featured Toy, Cuse, MCE, and Lasky, who I wasn't really familiar with, but I guess is some He's like in rank S, I think now.
He is or he was. I don't know if he survived the cut that they did for all those players.
Oh, you know what? He did, because when Steel was introducing his team, he said former rank S player Lasky, but then he was like, I'm still in it, bro. Fun story about Lasky, this dude literally rolled up to land with like a Gucci like tote bag or something, and I was like, all right, now we're talking.
I don't know. Fuck. You should read. Do you have contact with him?
With who?
Lasky. I just want to know where the name comes from, because in Polish, Lasky means like babes. Like it's plural for like women, like young, pretty women. It means like babes.
Oh, I don't know. Well, LA are like his initials, so that might be it.
Maybe. Well, I hope he knows that it means babes. Rolling up on land with a Gucci. Babes.
It seems like he might be aware of the underlying meaning.
Damn, so many of these people... this was like couldn't you just call this like a big premier showdown kind of? And main, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, like, premier teams were the highest caliber that we had here. There weren't any, like, full pro teams. Like, you had Roken and Freakazoid spotting, playing it with Enix, but that was,
what place did they finish?
Enix finished in 9/10th. They finished last in their group.
Not so good. I did see that Steel got an ace on them. He was playing out of his mind, like, the whole tournament.
Yeah, Steel had a good land, for sure.
He does that. He did that at... Dude, that guy comes into lands with everything he's got. He did that at RGN land, too. I don't know if you remember, on Overpass. He dropped, like, 40. Mo could barely frag. And Stewie also, like...
Stewie had troubles. Yeah.
I think the title of the interview I did with Stewie there was, like, I let Steel down or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, you have, like, Steel and Swag, like, these, like... This is, like, as big as it gets for those guys now, which is, like, sad. But that's the reality of the situation. So, yeah, they're fucking trying to win, obviously.
Yeah. Not trying to throw, actually. unlike Rogue leaving the server. I don't know. I'm throwing that in one last time to just laugh about it, because it's like ultimate tilt. All right, so in CS Code, we did have an update. It's been a long time. People were starting to complain a lot. It did look like I went through the patch breakdown by Max Reiger, who's the guy who does patch breakdowns. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, there were a lot of low-level changes made to the maps with clip brushes and stuff and bomb-stuck spots. So hopefully we won't see anything controversial happen with like a map spot at the major. As you know or might not know, Mirage, Nuke, and Cash had fixes. Oh, and Inferno too, but they're not going to play Inferno at the major. But yeah, Cash had Nuke.
Don't be so sure. Who knows? With Big Daddy Valve, you can never... don't rule anything out.
It's more like Grandpa Valve, because it's senile as fuck, but it was once a genius. But yeah. So audio, they did a lot of interesting changes that I tried to test for this weekend. I didn't really hear. But yeah, it was like there was like a cutoff range where you would sometimes like hear headshots across the map, and apparently they fixed that. Mm-hmm. And they did some this like SV Steam Authority Enforce thing. Mm-hmm. Should hopefully eliminate the no Steam logon, Steam authentication error that actually plagued majors in the past.
I'll believe that when I see it.
Yeah, so will I. Just as like I'll believe that Chicken can't join lobbies anymore, only when I see it. But and finally they got rid of a potential actual competitive shit show game breaking thing, which was if you were throwing a grenade, if you got killed, you drop a duplicate, which obviously impacts a round.
Right.
So they, I mean, I still hate them, but they did some cleanup work, and they got the stickers out. So there's that, right, Joe?
How do you feel about the stickers? I like them, but I saw some people not enjoying them.
I haven't really been on the skins game in a long time, but I was looking at them. They look nice. I don't mind.
Yeah, I don't hate them.
Maybe I'll pick up one or two here. I'll get a North sticker. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, since there's no like player, fantasy, I'm not even gonna fuck with signature stickers, which I never really liked anyway. Like, I like the concept of them, but like they don't look particularly great, in my opinion. Like, the team logo stickers look better.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, it's you could just increase your selling potential if you just put a meme on your sticker like Kiyoshima did. So
yeah,
that's like the new game. We apparently saw like I don't know. Do you think the players were trolling when they said JW tried to write Tupac on his?
Yeah, I don't know if that's accurate. That's my question. Like, where's the line? Where's the line between problem is okay and Tupac isn't okay? Like, maybe JW just wants to be Tupac. Who's to say that's not okay?
Maybe JW doesn't want you to assume his rapper identity.
Yeah, he could be like maybe more of a Biggie.
All right, guys. So, ending on the note of assuming one's rap identity. So yeah, that's it for this episode. I don't think we'll have a guest next episode because I think it'll be major predictions. Unless a guest would like to come and do major predictions with us. We could bust out the crates of beer. I know for a fact that my parents won't be home this coming weekend, so I'm just gonna be fucking.
Woo!
No, but listen, I'm gonna be chilling, straight up computer mode, like a hardcore motherfucker. It's just a thing with first world parents. Like, I can be a 25-year-old adult who's salaried, and if I'm downstairs for 10 hours, they'll be like, "Go outside." It's like, I'm 25, thank you. I don't need to go outside and play with sticks.
Dig like dirt in the ground. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So before we break, I forgot the two things.
I have 2 news updates as well.
Oh, okay.
Tech
Great.
issues, but you can go ahead first.
You have tech issues?
No. For like things coming. So I haven't transitioned
okay.
fully to my desktop yet. This is still on my laptop, but next one, I should have a good monitor setup going. We can do some Chrome reveals, some new tech. And second, the addition to our house is almost done, and I might move over there. And that could be like no interruptions with weird people coming to yell at me and shit. All right, that's it for me.
Big things coming.
Yeah.
Only the best for you guys. 2 things that I wanted to say that I forgot were, if right before I hopped on the show, I was looking at ESEA transactions, as I'm wont to do. Some interesting things in the perspective of, we have Fetish of Dignitas fame joining the Team 123 roster, which is like Rezex, Martin, Mertz, Sandin, and Cyclone. So that's interesting enough in itself. But then we also have Marshall, Tyloo's translator, or maybe former translator now, joining that roster as well. So who can say what's really happening there? I can tell you that the Danes are not being signed by Tyloo. It's not happening. So that's not happening. Secondly, TSM are still looking to remain in CSGO. They are looking at building a roster containing both European and North American players. They've put out inquiries. I'm not sure about offers yet, but they have put out inquiries to players, at least 3 of those players that would consist that roster. So, and I've heard they're willing to start from open if they have to. So, good luck to them.
Yeah, Jesus. Oh man, yeah. I got to feel they definitely will have to climb hard to get back to where they're at, or where they were at with the Danish team, I guess one could say.
Even to get back to where they were with the American team now. Yeah. So,
well, I mean, they can always pick me up.
You're almost global, so.
All right, guys. I'm so strong. All right, guys. So, thanks for watching, and peace.
Later.